What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prospect Spotlight, a Around the Horn production. I'm Aiden. I'm here with Nate. And this week, it's going to be a bit of a shorter episode, not as much news. We're approaching, I think we actually hit now that we're in November. We hit the prep dead period, I think. I don't know when it actually starts. The new dead period coming up on us. So not as much prep news, but we still have some stuff to cover. And then we will talk about our rankings that we have been releasing. When you guys will see this podcast, it'll be on Thursday, what is tomorrow, the 6th.
hmm
So that'll be when the last our last 20 guys will be posted. So all the rankings will be out by the time you guys see this. So we will talk about that. But first, let me tell you guys about Whip Energy. These are little pouches, caffeine pouches, all natural, no chemicals, no nicotine, no nothing. Pop one in. It's just like a Zyn, if you guys know what that is. Keep it in there and leave it in for about 20, 30 minutes. 200 milligrams of caffeine. You get all the energy you need. There's great flavors like this one. This is orange citrus. There's also a lime flavor, and there's another one I haven't tried yet. But use the code ATH10 to get 10% off when you go check out at whip.com. So, uh, start us off because today we actually did get some big recruiting news.
Yeah, today we did get a big recruiting news, and that's a top 10 player in the country. I don't know if he's top 10 on PG, but I know he's top 10 on Baseball America. That's Javorcy Lane picking Arkansas over some top other programs. You probably know him from he decommitted from Texas A&M. I want to say about I don't know how long ago to be exact, maybe a year ago.
Yeah, something like that.
I think he decommitted when the coaching swap. So actually probably about 2 years ago. So what do you say? What are you about to say?
Nah, I was gonna say yeah. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, but he announced that he's going to be heading to Arkansas for his college baseball. And like we talked about in the past episodes, he probably is a draft risk, probably a pretty high one. He's a highly touted prospect, top 15 on literally every website you look at. And when I was looking at Javorski Lane, I honestly had him going to Texas. I had him following Coach Jim Schlossnagle. How do you say his last name? I don't know how to say his last name. I'm,
Schloss. Yeah,
yeah.
Schlossnagel. Yeah.
I had a prediction of him going to Texas, and so this my prediction is wrong. But when I look at Arkansas, I'm not surprised here. Arkansas, what they've done, they show time and time again they can recruit at the top level. They've done it every year. They have a steady top 10 class almost every year. So I'm not gonna say I'm surprised by him. He is my number one catcher in this upcoming draft out of the high school level and
Uh,
college level. I think I have him as a
Will
one maybe.
Will.
Will Brick, yeah, Will Brick. Actually, he did reclass, so I think it that bad, but he's top three easily. He's top three
Yeah.
catcher. So this is a big get for Arkansas. This is their number one guy in their class. So this is going to jumpstart that. I think they're going to land some more commits. I think people are going to follow him, and I think he's going to be the building block for this Arkansas class.
Yeah, like you said, he's a draft risk, but it's also a big get for this class. Like you said, I'm not as aware of the decommit timeline, but I thought Texas A&M was honestly still in the race. He visited still a couple of times, but he was visiting all around. Again, another one of those guys that kept this process pretty quiet, posted some visit pictures, but you didn't hear much about where he was going. And then I don't even know. I mean, I texted you. Yeah, he gave us like 2 hours notice committing today, and I like the move. I thought it was between Texas A&M, and Arkansas, like you mentioned, and from what I saw and what I heard, his visit to Arkansas, the last one he went on, was great, and so it was just a matter of time as to when he would make that decision and if he was going to take any more visits. So, I'm not entirely surprised about the choice, but like you said, this is a huge get for Arkansas. He's a catcher, but could also slot in and play the outfield or corner infield spot. He's a big dude, top of the scale power potential. We have it graded as a 60, could go up to a 70 depending on what we see in the spring. Crazy good exit velos, good athleticism, both behind the dish and just in general. He's a great athlete. And I'm super excited to see what happens if they can get him to campus. That's going to be huge for Arkansas. It's going to be a great building block, especially as they're gonna be moving on from Ryder Helfrich in all likelihood this year, as he's a draft eligible sophomore. So we'll see what happens. But I'm super excited just for their class in general. I think, like you said, this jump starts them for whoever's still left on the board this year. There's a couple top guys that are still uncommitted, and then a lot of the 2027 class that's going to follow suit and start to, dominoes are going to start to fall for the rest of those guys.
hmm
So that's the first guy. Next, quickly, we'll touch on Jensen Hurstcorn. He is ranked 21st in our rankings. I don't know what he's exactly at on PGs, around a similar spot. Right-handed pitcher. He is someone that is tall, lanky, uses a lot of that length. Whoa. And he gets a really good extension point on the ball, and with his fastball, that leads to oftentimes great rise. IVB is the statistical baseball nerd term for it, and to dumb it down, that's why a lot of people swing and miss going under a fastball. And so he has a great fastball at that because of that extension and because of how high he releases the ball and he uses that length to his advantage. His mechanics are pretty repeatable. They're really good. A couple of tweaks here and there, but that comes with time and age. And his slider's pretty good as well. So LSU gets them another really, really good pitcher. I mean, they do it time and time again. You could touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, Jay Johnson once again showing that he's the top recruiter every year. He's getting guys left and right. I really did not know much about this prospect before you brought it up to earlier, and I apologize about that. But if I probably look at him, he's probably a top guy because Jay Johnson he gets the top guys like it's nothing, and I'm not surprised here at all by anything.
Yeah, a little bit of a late bloomer. Burst into the rankings late this summer and continued that throughout the fall. Had a strong showing on the circuit. Really broke out in this past year, and LSU gets another really, really good pitcher, another really, really good guy in general. Like you said, Jay Johnson does it again, and like you've seen with guys who we previously thought could be draft risks, he gets them to campus. So I mean, could definitely be a draft risk. Is definitely someone to keep an eye out on right now. But it would really not shock me at all if a couple days before the draft you hear this guy say, "I'm coming to campus and LSU is my home." I really could see that.
Yeah.
With a couple guys in this class too. I'm not just saying that for him, but I think him specifically just as one of those guys that broke out a little later. There's a lot less on him than some of the other pitchers in this class, both film wise and data wise. And that oftentimes leads to, guys heading to campus. So see
Mhm.
what happens. But that's just, that's another commit we would like to touch on. And Nate, you have one more before we before
I'll let you start off with it. I'll add
oh,
on.
I was gonna say Chubb
What?
Jones.
Chubb Jones?
Yes, he's committed to Clemson just
Yeah,
yesterday, I think, or the day before that.
I
Um,
think it was yesterday. Yeah.
He is one of the top players in the 2027 class. I haven't started on our rankings for that, but I think he's top 15 on perfect game. I don't know what prep baseball has it as. I gotta check. I'm not gonna, say anything because I'm not looking at it. But another one of those top players in that class. He's a 6'4" shortstop, but can also play in the outfield. For that position, he has tremendous amount of power. He has a quick swing, quick hands. Out of that Georgia area, trains with a lot of really, really good guys. Gets a lot of good working with a lot of top quality ball players, and he learns a lot. He is very, very good at, just picking the brains of the people he's around every day.
Mhm.
He picks my brain a lot and how I'm doing these rankings, and you get a good sense of what kind of guy and what kind of a player he is. Works super, super hard from what I know, and it's a great get for Coach Bakich. Clemson, I wouldn't say, has slightly declined. I don't want to say they slightly declined, but it's hard to say that I don't know if they're the same, powerhouse that we could have considered them to potentially be. I think they're losing a little bit each year, losing key pieces, but Coach Bakich is always one of the better recruiters. He
Mhm.
is on Instagram, doing things that no other coach really does, trying to appeal to the kids his age, these ages, and trying to appeal to the masses. And I think it's working so far. You see some of these top guys that want to go play for him. A lot of guys, when they commit to schools, some of them commit for the coach and some of them don't. Some of them commit for the place and the school itself and the culture and the history. And when you go and you commit to Coach Bakich at Clemson, I think a lot of the reason why you're committing there is you're committing to that coach. So, you know,
Okay.
testament to what he's been able to do there for the last couple of years while he's been there. And he's going to continue to do that. And they land one of their first big 2027 guys. He's going to headline that class and bring a lot of guys with him. So we'll see what he
Mhm.
starts doing, recruiting guys to come play with him at Clemson.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like Clemson wasn't a surprise for me because Chubb Jones was one of the few guys, so he kept his recruiting pretty kind of public. He posted pictures. He posted heading down there, heading down there. I'm gonna be here this weekend. And then when I got all down to the set of it, then I knew his commitment day was coming soon. I honestly had a prediction in him for Arkansas. I had him going to Arkansas because I have a source that I really trust at Arkansas that said that he loved his time out there. He loved the coaches. He loved the facility. He loved where it was at, just in the place. So I honestly had a prediction for Arkansas, and I didn't think Clemson was. I didn't think Clemson was out of it, but I didn't think they were like in the like where we have to worry about them. I honestly had Arkansas and Florida for him. So
Uh,
Clemson getting this is a big win. It shows they can recruit the top dogs. They can get the top guys to campus. So I'm really excited about this win. But then when we come down to the later things for 2027, he will be a draft risk, as we talk about. He will be a big one. But then, like you said, Eric Backus, who doesn't want to play for Eric? Who doesn't want to play for him? He's a fun guy. Kids love him. They've talked about him all the time. So, like you said, I think he does commit there for Eric. I think that's probably the biggest reason why he is heading to Clemson, if he does head to Clemson.
Um, yeah, so I think that source might have been me. He's, like you said, was one of those guys that you see this less often in baseball, especially now with the top guys that kind of made things a little public, posted about where he was visiting and, was excited about the process. And me and him spoke quite a bit, just in the DMs and on the side. And like you said, I thought he was Arkansas or Virginia. And I mean, not to say Clemson was really surprising, but when we spoke, I know he really loved his time at Virginia, loves the staff, something that we both share because being able to see them at Duke when we were at that regional, they took a liking to us. They very good people. So I definitely see, share that same, not necessarily, like, I don't want to say love for the staff, but um, we both share the same sentiment. And we talked a little bit about that with Virginia and then same with Arkansas. I mean, he told me great things about Arkansas. It's still a place that is on the top of our bucket list to go and visit this year. And just in general, I want to be able to experience that culture, that atmosphere. And, you hear so much about it. And so that was something that was on my radar as well. Like, I really didn't think Clemson was going to come in out of nowhere and do this, but when you take a step back and look at it, all things considered, I'm not insanely surprised, and I really like it for them. I think like we both said, you want to go and play for Coach Backish, and that's exactly what he did. He goes out and gets one of his guys, and that's going to head his 2027 class.
Mm.
Um, Now let us get into our rankings. I don't know how you kind of want to do this. I guess we could kind of. What am I? Should I like? All right, so I guess I'll make
Just
it.
tell him about the rankings first. Yeah.
Yeah, so we ranked. I'll say we, but this was really just me.
Aiden's in charge of the rankings, so
Yeah,
he,
I've been in charge of. I was in charge of this. Kind of just on my own time was doing our top 100 prep rankings, and at the time you're seeing this now, they're all out. So you guys will be able to reference the whole list on Instagram, and we'll talk about some of the guys and some of the stuff that I guess not necessarily like. I don't know. We'll talk about the top and we'll talk about some other guys that slotted their way in that maybe are a little under the radar in some other spots.
yeah.
But we'll first talk about our number one player, or I guess my number one player, but I think Nate agrees with me here on this one.
Mhm.
It's Grady Emerson.
Do agree.
Um, and the explanation for that, I mean, not much needed really,
There's
but
not much explanation. He could do it all on the field. There's nothing. There's in his recruiting, not recruiting. His what's it called highlights. You don't see a flaw really. He's good at what he does. He's a five-tool player, and I'm really high on him as we come closer to the 2026 draft.
yeah, I think without a doubt, he's a top high school prospect. He's one of the best. I think in a lot of drafts, he would be a clear cut number one type of player. This draft is
This draft,
just,
I wouldn't say there's no clear cut, but I think we all know who we think would be one. That would be Rock Chalowski. But I'm not going to just say it. I'm not just going to say we've seen stranger things like we did last draft. So I'm not going to just sit here and just roll it out as an option.
yeah. Like you said, yeah, Brock Schilowski is, I think mine, yours, everyone's pretty much consensus number one guy on the boards for this year. But in the prep ranks, that's Grady Emerson, and you know. I see a little bit of the same in their games. Both shortstops. I mean, I don't want to say that I see the same thing in both of their games because it's totally wrong to say that Rock and Grady are similar players. But I think just the ability to be able to do everything out on the ball field is something that both of them have, and not many other guys, especially at a premium position like a shortstop, are able to do. Both of them have tremendous pop. You saw Rock hit 23 home runs last year in college circuit. Grady went out and did the home run derby X, the new home run derby thing that's been taking over the baseball world in the last couple of years. He won it for the team Dodgers. He's shown off the pop all summer on the circuit, done great things, did well for Team USA, plays good defense. I mean, does everything you could ask out of a ball player, and he takes our number one spot. Um, Number two, we have Jacob Lombard out of Gulliver, the recent Miami commit. Um, I personally, not that I think I would drop him far, but I think there's a case for a couple guys that could, also slot up at two. I think the top tier of prep players are really, really damn good all across the board. But the reason why I put Jacob Lombard at my two spot is the true upside, the athleticism, and the ceiling. I think it outweighs the concerns on the swing and miss side and the bat to ball ability that I have. I think, though, you do see some concerning things in the pitch selection, you see a couple concerning things in the chase rate, the strikeouts, and that comes with that's something that comes with high school players and prep players. But on the flip side, the athleticism is off the charts. He ran a record time for a 60-yard dash. He plays some great defense. Um, Sometimes trips himself up a little bit on these easier plays, and I think that's because of how good his movement is and how athletic and explosive he is, that sometimes he does a little too much, and those routine and easy plays are a little more difficult because of that. But um, he could stick at shortstop without a doubt. He can go to center field if needed. Great runner, great athlete. The power potential, I mean, everybody talks about it at the shortstop position or wherever he's going to play. He is someone that's still filling out in a frame and already has tremendous strength and could be a potential 30 plus home run hitter at the next level. And I'm super excited to, hopefully see him work on the bat to ball and sure everything up. But the upside is just too high to not have him near the top of this class.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's highlighted. In my opinion, he's highlighted by his fielding, like you covered. He's phenomenal in that area. Kind of like a Billy Carlson, maybe, with less, not as great hitting, because I think Billy Carlson is a little more well-rounded than Jacob Lombard. But that's my comparison, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I don't necessarily hate that comparison. I think Lombard's a lot better of an athlete and his movement is better. I think Carlson is very technical. He's very sound. Fundamentally does everything right. And I think the thing with Carlson that you're hoping that he grows into is that power, his bat to ball ability, his contact is there. And I think that's a little bit of the opposite for Lombard. And I think teams will kind of like that a little more because just having the strength and the power potential being there and not having to, teach a kid, it's easier to teach a kid to tweak their mechanics and their swing and work on their bat to ball than it is to fully change and work on their body and grow into more strength. So I think, like we touched on, that's something that, teams will see and want to work on. I think that's a development project that is well worth taking high in the very first round. That's why he ranks two in my prep rankings in our class. Next, you are going to disagree with this one, but I will defend it hands down. Number three, I have Blake Bowen. And look, in the other rank, in Perfect Game, in Prep Baseball, and Baseball America, in the last year alone, you've seen him shoot up rankings. And the reason why he hasn't been that high is because he's a late bloomer. He didn't go to all these perfect game events. He didn't go to all these showcases and all these things. And eventually, when people realized how damn good he was, he got invites to all these things and was killing the circuit. This summer, he hit near 500, showed off power, hit 5 home runs. He's a great runner in the field, ran a sub 6'4", 60-yard dash, could play center field, could stick there at center field where he has thus far, can also play in the corner outfield as he has a big arm, can dial it up to 96 mile an hour. But in my opinion, the most impressive thing about Bowen is the bat speed, the bat to ball ability just is there. It's natural to him. Like I said, against the best pitching all summer in the circuit, he hit near 500, and he's been doing that for his whole life. But what's really been surprising for people now, especially at a 5'10" frame, is the amount of power that he has. The strength and power he's shown this summer and what he's worked on and improved on is ridiculous. His bat speeds are near 90 miles an hour. He clocked an 88.3 mile an hour bat speed His hand speed is near 26 miles an hour. I mean, it's some of the most ridiculous data I've ever looked at, especially for a guy in this age at this time of his career. And so it's something that I am really high on. I'm really willing to bet on as a evaluator or someone that's looking at, if I were in a GM seat and I'm looking at this board, Blake Bowen is someone that I have really close to the top of mine because I think that though um you don't draft on floor. I think his floor is tremendously high, one of the highest out of all these high school players in the class. And I think with a couple tweaks mechanically and a few things here and there, especially if he does end up playing a corner outfield spot, I think his ceiling is as high as anybody in this class. I'm really, really high on Blake Bowen. I will continue to be really, really high on Blake Bowen until he gives me a reason not to be.
Yep. I mean, I like him, but like I don't like him like top three. But that's my opinion. I'm gonna keep that for a later day. So I don't even have the picture in front of me. So you might got mentioned four. Who's four for you?
Four is Gio Rojas.
Okay.
You could touch on him if
Yeah,
you.
Rojas. I like him a lot. He's the clear cut best pitcher. Arguably, I would say I would even go to say in the draft. I think he's the best pitcher in the draft. He's left handed. He's a big dude. He has a big ceiling, like you said earlier about Brady. Wait, what's his name? Bowen?
Blake Bowen, yeah.
Like, but I don't know why I said Brady. But I don't really know his pitch. I know he can run up there. I know he can run his fastball firm. And I think when you have a left-handed fastball who's firm, I think that is just a plus plus rather than a right-handed fastball that's firm. So like you're seeing out of like the difference with him and Bo Holloway is I think Bo Holloway has the best secondary, but I think Bo Holloway he gets hit around way more. He gets hit around way more than Gio Ross. And Gio Ross he can hit locations. He has a great secondary. He has pitches he can rely on in it's a 3-0 count. He can go to off speed. He's confident he can do that. He can. So I think he's just a better overall. I wouldn't say pitcher, but I would say I think he has. I think his bag is deeper. If that makes sense. I think his bag is way deeper than any other pitcher in this upcoming class.
Yeah, I mean, look, the one and two pitchers were hard for me to kind of decipher between or like flip between. And I flipped through a while when I was deciding. I went back and forth on this for quite a while when I was looking at who I wanted to add and have up here. And Rojas ultimately for me, and we'll get to who I have him over, but overall, um, Rojas for me, what pushed him over the edge was one, like you said, the fastball from the left-hand side, touching 99, nearing that triple digit mark, and it's firm, it rises. But the most impressive thing for me is the secondaries that he's working on and developing. I mean, out of nowhere last year, he started to develop a changeup that is a true outlier changeup. It's something that he's still working on, trying to get a feel for, but it has some of the most ridiculous movement and fade action from a left-handed changeup that I've ever really looked at. And it was the first year he ever threw it last year. And the numbers we got were from his high school data. So I know it's not against the best competition. So take it with a little grain of salt. But I think that being able to have already a three pitch mix that are all good pitches and a fastball, which is a plus plus pitch, a slider, which in my opinion, it's not plus yet, but it's on the track to being a plus pitch, and a changeup, which if he continues on this path, it could be two plus plus pitches out of a 18-year-old left-handed prep arm, and you don't really ever see that. So that's something that stands out for me. Also, I hate to say you get a little bit of an advantage being a lefty as an arm, but you do.
Yeah.
And so, that those three things ultimately had me putting him over the other pitcher in this class that was very, 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 very close to having in this spot as well. And we'll get to him quite soon. Um, but yeah, Gio Rojas is my four. And at my five, we'll get to Brady Harris. You like this kid a lot, so talk about Brady.
Yeah. Thing with Brady Harris, I'm really high on him. I think he's a top. I wouldn't be mad if you really put him in. If you really put him in the top two, I would not be mad because I think Brady Harris. When you look at him, I think he's the best athlete in the class, and that's out of the college circuit, that's out of the high school. I think he's the best pure athlete. You could slide him in anywhere on the field. I think he's gonna find success over time at that spot. So I think his bat to ball is pretty shaky. His I don't know the thing that puts him lower in these people's mock drafts. I think is just I don't really know, Aiden. You because you're not as high as him as I am. I think he's the athlete. I think he has a great 60. He has sneaky pop at exit velos. He one of the better outfielders I've seen in the prep class in a long time. He can cover ground. He can play all three positions. So I don't really know why he's sliding down on mock drafts. I must be missing something, but I think he's up there with some of the best people in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like you said, you said I'm not as high as him as you are, and that's right. And not to say that I'm down on him at all. I mean, he's a great prospect, a great player. Like you said, one of the best athletes, if not the best athlete in the class. I still have Lombard over him, but I have Harris right there behind him. And I think the thing that concerns scouts and other people is like you said, the bat to ball ability was shaky, and it was really shaky this summer with I think he was with Team USA but didn't really do much. And and then when someone goes and gets invited to go and play on a stage like that and then doesn't necessarily perform the way to their standards or to where other people's standards are, because I look, I'm not going to speak to say he didn't perform to his standards. That's on him. um but these kids have really high expectations on them, and so for someone that went out there and I'm not going to say didn't perform, but he had a rough couple weeks in Japan, and the team ultimately won, and he did some great things. He contributed when he needed to, but overall the performance, I guess, kind of worried some scouts, and I think it's really just I think the more concern is with the bat to ball ability, and I think he also did get hurt. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't spoke to him, so I can't necessarily confirm that. But I mean, he's still a top five player in my rankings. We have him at five in my class. I like him a lot, like you said. Um, I think people are a little harsh on him, dropping him as far as they have been. But yeah, he was in my top three. He was my third ranked guy, and I dropped him a little bit to five. Just a slight slide, nothing crazy. Um, next,
How
uh,
many people you want to talk about?
we'll go through the top 10 and then like two or three more. Um,
Okay.
Next, I'm actually switching up what I have in the picture, and next is Caden Wachter or Wechter, however you say it. He's the second pitcher. We'll talk about in this class, and this is the same thing that I had to say about Rojas. Wechter is someone who is truly like has somewhat of a unicorn profile, and I'll pull up the draft profile we did on him because I don't have the
Yeah, I
grade.
can talk. I like Wechter a lot. I like him a lot. I honestly just forgot about him until you just brought him up. I like him a lot. I stat that I saw him this summer. He threw 78% strikes. He's accurate. That's something I
Yeah.
like about him. That's something scouts will like about him. He doesn't go in there. He doesn't just miss. He doesn't miss. He misses on purpose. If he misses, it's on purpose. It's a setup pitch. He misses on purpose. And then the second thing I like about him is his off speed. His off speed is probably the best in the class in the
Yeah.
high school. His off speed is disgusting, and that's with a changeup. That's with the slider. That's with the. He might have a fourth pitch that I don't. I'm
So
not.
yeah, so he has a fastball,
I'll let you talk
slider,
about that. Yeah.
changeup, and a cutter. And
Yeah.
just overall, I would say the most well-rounded pitch mix in this entire class, without a doubt. The
Mhm.
fastball is a plus pitch. He's getting it up to 97. Uh, Spins it at 2,700 RPMs. It's a true it's true 65 grade fastball. That's where we have it. Um, and Then the slider is something that is continually a work in progress. He's been working on it for the past year and a half, trying to get better with it, trying to get more of a feel for it. And this past summer, he really did that. Was getting spin rates at near 2,800 RPMs, moving like a UFO slider. I mean, he was able to get near 18 inches of horizontal break on it, and that's something that not a lot of guys in the major leagues get. And Wechter's doing this at 18 and he's hitting his spots with it. Like you said, his command has been elite. He misses on purpose when he misses and to get chases. And this summer he did just that. He got a lot of chases. He did a lot of really good things with the bat, with the ball this summer. When the ball is in his hands, you could go out there and be sure that you guys are getting a really good performance out of him. You're getting something special out of him every time he takes the mound. And in my opinion, the most impressive thing about him is his changeup. It's the best changeup in the class out of the high school guys. It could even be the best changeup out of all the college guys as well. I haven't deep dived into all the college arms yet, just to be able to look and say that. But I can confidently say that out of all of these stable of prep arms, Caden Wechter has the best changeup. It is something that just the timing change, the speed change, and the movement it has on it is something that is quite unheard of for an 18-year-old. And it's his go-to two-strike pitch. It's his go-to pitch to get chases and soft contact. And so overall, Wechter is someone that I'm super high on. And like I said, he could have flip-flopped with Rojas. He could have been my four. I was super close to putting him
I
there.
wouldn't mind that at all.
I mean, yeah, he could be my number one pitcher. It's 1A and 1B at the moment for me right now. Like I really like the both of these two guys, and I'm so excited to see what comes out of this season because I really think that I think that regardless of what happens, both guys are going to come into the draft as 1A and 1B. But, a great year or great development with a single pitch from either one of these guys could solidify themselves as, without a doubt, the number one pitcher in this class.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
really exciting to see. I'm super excited to see what comes from Wechter. I'm super excited to see what comes from Rojas. Both guys, Florida guys, staying in state. Wechter to Florida State, Rojas to Miami. Um, both huge draft risks, in my opinion. They're both top 15 picks. And I'm super, super interested to see what goes on in the spring with them and, where they end up getting mocked and drafted to.
Hmm.
Next, we go to the number 7 spot where we have the new addition to the 2026 class, catcher Will Brick. Talk about Will. I mean, you know him better than I do. You grew up, around him and you played with him and against him.
Yeah, Will Brick, someone that I wouldn't say a late bloomer, but he's definitely rose up. He's always been somewhat on the rankings, but he about this last year, he has flew up rankings. It's been someone that is someone with big time pop. I'm talking 100 X velos constant.
Yeah.
Someone that, in my opinion, is the best. Is he will be the best. What's it called? I don't know how to say it. He will be the best fielding catcher in the draft. 100%. That's something I highlight about him. His pop times low 1.7s.
Yeah.
And that's high school. Right?
Think
In the
about
high
it,
school,
last.
that's elite. That's scary. You don't want to run on that.
No.
It doesn't matter who's. It doesn't matter who's that. It doesn't matter if Brady Harris is running. It doesn't matter Jacob Lombard. You're not running on that. That would just be stupid. And then his bat to ball is something I like. Is something that I think it could be worked on. I think if he works on it, he could be a top 10 pick. I think he has everything. He has the build. He has the work ethic. He's an athlete. He's someone that shows up every day, gets better every
Also
day.
young.
He's also young. That young. You mentioned it, young. Like I said, reclass 2026, potentially four to go to Mississippi State. I don't know how much I believe that personally.
No, no. We talked about this last epepisode. He's not
Yeah,
going.
I heard he reclassed because he wants to head to Mississippi State as fast as possible.
It could be possible. It could be possible,
That's what
but
I'm saying. I don't know how much I will believe that, but
money talks. I mean, money talks. Will knows. I mean, I told him, I said, when I asked him, I said, "Are you heading there in December?" Because that's what people were telling me. People were telling me he was
I
reclassing.
heard that too. I heard people were trying. He was trying to graduate that this year.
Yeah, and I heard that, and I texted him. And I said, "Yo, what's going on with this?" And he said, "I can't." And so I said, "Don't worry, you have two great options this summer." And he goes, "Trust me, I know." So I think in his mind, um, he might have an option made up. Yeah, maybe he does really want to go to school, and that's possible. But, I think with a guy like this, you look at a profile, you look at the player, um, like you said, he has elite defense. That's a calling card behind the plate. And at a premium position like that, you don't get many elite defenders, especially at a high school. But what I really like about Will and what I'll talk about because you brought up the defense is the pop. At the Perfect Game All-American Classic, whatever it was, or Prep Baseball All-American Games, whatever it was in Miami, just at the end of September, I think it was, or maybe mid-September, he posted some of the loudest exit velos, and this was before he had reclassed. He was hitting 106, 107 exit velos, hitting balls. He had the top distance of the weekend, tied with Bo Peterson. I think he actually might have beat Bo Peterson. It was tied with Dylan Seward. Sorry, just looked that up. He hit a ball 427 feet in BP, 106 miles off the bat, and that was the top distance of the weekend. And he's shown that when he connects with a ball, it's going far. Um, and he's really done a lot more recently, especially playing with Team USA. You saw that he worked on that bat to ball ability. He worked on the ability to hit and not just be a defensive first or defensive only catcher. And was a top 5 player in the class of 2027. You expect him to reclass and slide down just a little bit because of that youth and that experience. But no, you could tell how much he's been working because was a top 5 player in the class of 2027 and then showed out, reclassed, and slotted right back into number
I was
five.
about to say, yeah. When you see someone reclass and they head to the next class at the same ranking they had at the previous class, and there's a top five, top eight ranking, he's legit. So that's really impressive to me. I don't know the last time I've seen someone do that. That was
Been a
reclass
while.
and then he literally almost jumped higher, going down lower the class. Like he almost went better in the rankings. That was something I've never seen before in my life.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, for as long as I've been covering, I've been doing this deep dives and stuff like this for the last 2.5, 2 years, and I've never seen something like that. The last time I can remember someone reclassing like that, and I actually can't. I really can't, off the top of my head, think of a guy that reclassed and, held his ranking and held the same hype going into the draft year as they had in that class before. And so and I've got personal bias, and so do you, and that's understandable. One of our guys comes from your hometown, your home state, and you know him personally. But Will is just an all-around great player, all-around great guy. I'm super excited to see what he does this year too, because I think he can really make an impact on just everything in this class, depending on what he wants to do, especially if he wants to go to school, and that's why he reclassed. Super interesting. Um,
Mhm.
Next, we go to Tyler Spangler, the shortstop out of California.
Yeah, you probably know a little more about him than I do. The Stanford commit, right?
He's a Stanford commit. Yeah, I could touch on him a lot. Bat to ball shortstop first. The power, though it's there, it's not like it is with the other shortstops in this class, and that's what sets them apart from Spangler. He's a great athlete, runs really good or quick. Defense is great. I think he's going to stick at the shortstop position for the long time to come. He has great movements, good glove hand, decent arm as well. I think it's not someone that you'd want to move to third necessarily, but it's someone that is great to stick at the shortstop spot. Both the athleticism, the frame, the arm, everything about it. You like him at the shortstop spot, which is a big yes for teams. They love to see that. You don't want to have to, move a guy around and teach him a new position. And the calling card with him is the bat to ball. He hits. He does it really well, whether it's gap to gap power, whether it's knocking in a base hit, or just moving a guy over and doing the job. Spangler plays the baseball the right way. It's not going to be a home run every time, but you're also not going to get as much swing and miss as you do with the top guys. It's a little more of a high floor, lower ceiling type of profile, but he's still a really damn good player. So he's someone I like a lot at the top of this class, and he slots in at number 8 for me. At number 9, we go with our first third baseman, first corner infielder of the class, Bo Peterson. And hey, I mean, personal bias, you could tell me if that's true. Stop me if I'm saying that, but I would put him higher, man. I want to put him higher than 9. Like I really do. I love the profile on this kid.
Yeah, I know he's highlighted by his hitting. I know he hits the ball hard and far. I don't know what kind of fielder he is. I'll be honest. I don't know if he's like a plus fielder, if he's just like a average fielder.
I
I
think
don't.
I think he's average to stay at third base, and I think if you moved him to first base if needed, he would be a good infield. He would be a good first baseman there. But I think right now you're hoping that he sticks at third. He's a 6'5" runner, so for a big guy like he is, I think he's 6'4", 215, something like that. Maybe even a little heavier than that, 6'3", 6'4", 215. Um, you know, big guy and runs pretty well, pretty athletic, has great actions, explosive. So I like him at third base. But at the prep ranks, there's never enough film on these guys defensively to manage to see what they're be able to manage and see what they're going to be able to do. There's only select few guys that you really know are the top of the top defenders. And no knock on Bo, but he isn't one of those elite defenders at third base. So, there is a bit of question marks on where he'll end up if he'll stick there. But like you said, the calling card is the bat and it's the power. I compare him a little bit to
Pretty
Xavier.
sure he was in the home run derby with Grady, right?
He not that yeah, the high school one. He won the high school home run derby, the one that takes place on All-Star weekend
Yeah.
in Atlanta. And yeah, he made the finals as Grady. But I'll talk a little bit about him as a player, the profile in general as the bat, because unlike some of these guys with top of the scale power potential, his pitch selection and his swing to miss rate is His swing and miss rate is lower than everybody else, and his pitch selection is really elite. I mean, he's not afraid to take a walk. He's not afraid to just let a pitch go by in the strike zone if it's not his pitch. He sits there, he waits for his count, he waits for his spot, he picks his spot, and he unleashes on balls. And he's been doing this his whole life. I mean, 109-mile-an-hour exit velo is a max. With wood bat, that's ridiculous. A lot of guys in college don't even get that with metal bats. And I mean, he's been able to do it all, showing pop both sides of the field. He can pull one. He can also, go oppo, gap to gap power, showing off triples, showing off the speed when needed. I mean, he just does everything the right way. I'm super excited to see him continue to play this year. Uh, Pretty shitty competition in Kansas. I understand that, but on the circuit, played for Canes and did really, really well. So I'm super excited to see how Bo does. And he's one of my top guys. He's ranked at 9, but honestly, I would not mind putting him higher. But I got to refrain. So there goes my number 9, Bo Peterson. You have any other comments before we move on?
No, I think we touched it.
And next, I'll let you go about a guy that you know a lot about, and it's the perfect game player of the year, Malachi Washington.
Malachi Washington. Yeah. Well, the thing I like about Malachi Washington is his wait. Was he a third baseman? No, he's
No,
a short.
outfielder,
He's
outfielder.
the outfielder. Wait, you might got to touch on him. I'll be honest. 'Cause I
Okay.
know. I know. Once again, he's highlighted by his power again. I know that he hits the ball hard and far. LSU commit. That's a plus for me. But he's gonna be a draft risk. He's pretty fast for how big he is. I think I know that too. I don't know. He might play football, so that might be a little.
Honestly,
He's
interestingly,
a, he's a he's a he's a good athlete. That's something I like about him too. An athlete in the outfield that can move. That's someone I like. Like I said about Brady Harris, I think an athlete in the outfield that can cover range. I think that's the most deadly and the best prospect that could come out of a draft. I would die behind that. I would plant my flag behind that quote.
um, I like that. Honestly, I don't hate that quote, and I'll give you this. Just in general, like he's 6'1", 195. So yeah, he's a decently big guy, and he ran a 6'3", 360 yard dash.
Yeah,
He can move. The kid can move. Primary outfield, but can also go and play second base, can play third base. Kind of just plug and play him all around. Just he has the size and the athleticism to be able to do that, and highlighted by the power. This past spring, he hit 17 home runs in high school and won perfect game underclass player of the year because of that. And then he won perfect game player of the year because of that. He had a tremendous season. He hit 650 with 17 home runs. I don't know what other stats he had, but like putting up video game numbers. It's literal MLB The Show rookie mode type of numbers, and it's
he's
like
in high school ball, right?
in high school
I'm about
ball.
to say because I think he's in the highest class in Georgia too. So he's not playing. He's not playing nobodies.
Yeah, he's where is he at? He's at
He's at like Parkwood or
Parkview.
something.
He's at
Parkview.
Parkview High
Yeah, he's not
School.
playing bums.
No, they're playing against Etowah and Buford and some of these other really, really good schools in Georgia, and then goes out in the summer and does his thing on the circuit, does his thing at all these tournaments. And so overall, like it's hard for me to put a knock on him or find a knock on him. And I know he dropped in PG's recent rankings, but in my opinion, like it's really damn hard for me to drop the kid because all he's done is hit and just, you know, be a spark plug. And here's
Hmm.
his stats: 538 average with 15 home runs and 59 RBIs.
You know, the kind of comparison I'm giving him, it might not be a little weird, but I'm kind of looking at like a Quentin Young from last year. That could play,
Uh,
that could play
I
the outfield. I don't know.
no, I think that's a stretch of a comparison in my opinion. Quentin Young 6'6". I mean,
Yeah,
completely different frame and
I know Quentin's
profile.
that big. I'll be honest. I didn't know he's that big.
Completely
I'm just
different frame and
6'4".
profile. But you know, I guess someone that I'll compare him to a little bit is similar to Corbin Carroll. Doesn't move the same way and not as quick and twitchy, but he has really good swing decisions, really quick bat, gets the bat around to balls and can pull and can, go opposite field. And he also has sneaky power. You don't see it out of a guy that's 6'1", 195. You don't think he's someone that can explode for 15 home runs in a spring. Um, but goes out and does that and then carries that momentum into the summer, does great at all these Under Armour All-American games, perfect game All-American games, wherever he went, he just hit. You heard a lot about the bat. You heard power, you heard everything coming off of it. And you don't even hear about the defense because of how good the bat is, but the defense is sound. He could play everywhere. You could plug and play him. He's a great athlete. He's
An
versatile.
athlete in the outfield, dude, is scary. It's something every team in the MLB has. Is an athlete in the outfield. It's someone
Yeah.
that can.
And that's why, it's a high-end comp and it's a little bit of a stretch, but I like Corbin Carroll comp for him. Uh,
Yeah, I like a Corbin Carroll, maybe to I like a Brady Harris Corbin Carroll. I like that a little more.
all right. Um,
I'm being honest. Maybe a
I'm
Pete
not, no,
Rose.
I'm not. And look, we'll do maybe our next episode will
Yeah, I'm
be
about to say we could do that post comparing the top. Yeah, we
we
could do that.
yeah, we could do that for either our next episode of this or our next post. But then I just as I move on, we'll touch on like three or four more guys that we had in the top 30 that I just want to point out. And first we'll start with Noah Wilson, the shortstop out of Tennessee. Um, isn't he all he's all, oh no, Vanderbilt commit. I was gonna say
Vanderbilt
also
commit
committed to Tennessee, but no.
top 25 on like every circuit. So
Yeah, just got bumped up into the top 10 on perfect game. But what I like a lot about Noah is one, like you hear with all of these other guys, he's an elite athlete, both the short, both just in the field and in general. Great runner, great movements, can play center field, can play shortstop. But with him, it's a little bit more of a, I don't know, it's a little bit more of a balanced combination of the bat to ball and the power. He does a little bit of both. He does a little bit of both pretty well.
yeah,
Power lead.
yeah. I wouldn't say he's great at anything, but I don't think he's great at anything, but I think he's good at everything. If that makes sense. I think
Yeah,
that's how I look at Noah Wilson. He's not great at anything, but he's good at everything.
yeah, and I think you put that into perspective pretty well for a lot of people watching. If you don't know Noah Wilson, he's a guy that can literally do it all for you on the field. He can go hit a double, he can go hit a homer, he can go do whatever, but he can also go out on the field and go make a great play, say, and show off his range and save a base hit or save a run, whatever that may be. Next, I want to talk next about Matt Ponitowski. He's a name that you may know because he's also a
Whoa,
quarterback commit.
whoa, where is he? Wait, where is he in the rankings?
I have him at 20. I
Okay, I didn't know how far we're skipping along.
No, no, no. I have him at 20.
Okay,
Um,
that's fine. I thought it was like a 12, 11.
I have him. Yeah, I have 12 next to him because I was going to move things around, but I'm not putting him at 12. But tentatively, right now, I have him at 20. Um, Things might move around. Tonight I'll take a deeper look into things, some of these guys, and see where I want to put them. But Matt is, again, a common theme with these guys. He's an elite athlete, two-sport athlete, quarterback commit for the University of Kentucky as well, baseball commit. You know,
There's another athlete.
I think what stands out about him is just the fielding and the arm, and I think that's a given if you're looking at a quarterback. I mean, I would hope he has a great arm, and that's someone that can move to center field or right field potentially. And I think there's little mechanical issues with the swing that need to be fixed, but it's nothing major. And I think once they fix that and unlock that, I think it's a little bit with his load and just being able to quickly get around to balls that normally are beating him. But I really like the guy as a player. I like the guy as an athlete and a prospect. I think he has one of the higher ceilings in this class. So he's someone I really like. And
Mm.
last, I want to touch on our number 28th ranked player, Ethan Bass. You highlighted Ethan about a year and a half ago before he was on the circuit at all. We made a post for him, and I mean he's been breaking out since then. Do you want to talk about him, or do you want me to touch on him?
You can start on him. I'll join though.
So Ethan Bass is Wake Forest commit. He's a shortstop or third baseman. Can fit and play both. His arm is huge, but in my opinion, what is the calling card for him is the bat to ball ability. I mean, he just hits, whether it's you know hitting doubles, hitting singles, base hits. I mean, he does it all out there with the bat. He really is good at getting his hands around through the zone and squaring up a ball in the barrel. And he doesn't have the best pop necessarily like home run pop, but he is really good at being able to just get the barrel to the baseball and do damage with it. And I'm really excited to see, you know, his continuation and development. And I think, he is a draft risk, but I think there's a legitimate chance that he gets to Wake Forest and you see a really good career trajectory and really good development out of them with him because, they do it quite often with their shortstops. And I'm super excited to see what they are able to do with him there.
Yeah, Ethan Bass, you touched it. He's good all around. Kind of how we saying about it. This draft class. Honestly, probably one of the better athlete draft classes we have in a while.
I think this draft class in general is generational and the depth in it is
Yeah,
tremendous.
because this is literally just the high school people. We could go on about college people being athletes too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk maybe next week we'll talk. I'll do college ranking and we'll talk about our college ranking for this episode for next week. Um, but yeah, those are those are the top 10 of our rankings, and we touched on some other guys that I wanted to highlight. Nate, do you have anyone else that you want to talk about before we close
Uh,
out this episode?
no, we covered it. It was a good episode.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching Prospect Spotlight. That is the second episode. We will be back next week for another episode of this and every week. So be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and let us know what you want us to, what you want us to talk about on this episode next week. And we'll get something done for sure.